Hey everybody, it's Sophie and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food, and it's just Marco here once again. And I already tried to film this video once, and it got so bad because I was so all over the place, and I ended up talking about some very strange things. I got a little bit too personal in terms of that, and so you can see that on the Patreon page because this review will be free on YouTube. But if you'd like to see the deleted review or part of a review, I did not finish the review, head on over to our Patreon page. And with that subscription, either subscription, you can see a ton of bonus content and the full reviews of movie reviews that I do on this channel, or Sophie and I do, and my short film. And so check all that out and you will not regret it. So now let's get started. I am here today to review, not Primate. Primate I wish I was reviewing again because I could just say that was really good and then click stop. But no, I am here to review Whistle. And there are a couple of things that I want to talk about before I review the movie. I will try to go fast because I am challenging myself to only do a review for 20 minutes with this movie because this movie is so bad, it's not even worth talking about for like 50 minutes to an hour. And actually, Sophie today, first thing, I started off the day, I had kind of a bad morning because the air in my room was so dry. Something happened to me in the morning that was really gross, and it was really bad, and I felt kind of sick. And in fact, it's already dry tonight. Like you can hear it in my voice. Sophie was really excited to review Fear Factor with me. She was really happy. She was really excited. And I said, you know what, Sophie? I'd like to go get a Baja Bastard Freeze from Taco Bell. Because we haven't gone out this week, and she wanted to as well. And so I gave her like half of mine, and so she liked that. And she had a Mexican pizza, and it was so funny because after that happened, she immediately, her entire persona changed. She became very sad and upset because she got food poisoning from the Mexican pizza. And so for the rest of the day, it was like a polar opposite. She was very upset. So she is currently she's sound asleep. She has a horrible stomach ache. And it ruined her whole day. And it was so funny because I watched Fear Factor before I knew that she was sick. And then she was like, oh, well, we can't do the review today. And I was like, okay, I guess we'll have to do it tomorrow. And hopefully she feels better, and hopefully everything around here gets better. So both her and I were just kind of sick today and just kind of off. And I think that it was the perfect time to review this movie, Whistle, because this movie is like, I don't know how to describe it. It's a sick day type of a movie. And yeah. And so the second thing is that, this movie stars Dafne Keen, who I am a fan of. I think that she's a rising star with potential. And before I even knew about this, I actually sent her a message. And I told her, you should be in a horror movie. Because she just has like the face of someone who should be in a horror movie. You guys know what I mean? Like, she's really hot for sure. She is a 10 out of 10. But, like, she really has the perfect horror face. And I don't know. I texted her that. And then, like, a month later, or a week later, weeks to a month later, I saw the trailer pop up for this movie. And I was like, wow, that was good timing. And then thirdly, the last thing. And I know that all this stuff is like really extra, and so I totally don't blame you if you fast forward through it, because, especially if you haven't seen my channel before, you're probably like, who cares? But I like to share. That's what she said. So, the third thing is I am really good at finding lookalikes. That is something that is very unique to me. Like, there's this girl from high school that I had a crush on, and literally every single year, I meet a new girl who looks exactly like her. And it did not happen last year, but January of this year, I have already met someone who looks exactly like her. And that is consistent for me. I am really good at finding lookalikes. And the reason why I bring that up is because I just so happened to meet this really nice woman from Russia. I will not say her name because she didn't give me permission. And she looks exactly like Dafne Keen. And she's really cool. And so I just thought that was funny that, like, you know, it's so weird how, like, you can find people who just look exactly alike, like they're a clone. And I'm not kidding you guys when I say she looks exactly alike. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. A lot more awesome than this movie. This movie is like the biggest nothing burger of 2026, and it is only February. And I feel bad because the last couple of movies I've given really bad reviews to. Mercy, 28 Years Later 2, and then Send Help. But here's the thing. There's a difference between bad movies and then this. Movies like Whistle. Movies like Whistle are so bad that, you know, they constantly just get worse and worse and worse. And there's just there's just a huge difference between this and then those three other movies that are still bad, but like this movie is the worst of the worst, bottom of the barrel. It was like a Redbox rental movie. It was like a modern day drive-in movie in all the worst possible ways. And it had like one or two things that I liked that I really tried to pick out just to be nice. But it's awful. This is an awful movie. The story is trash. There was a good idea, a good concept, and it is not executed well at all. The story is terrible. There are so many plot conveniences. There are so many just stupid things that happen throughout this movie to the point of where I got like 20 minutes in and I completely checked out. And that never happens. It takes me like 30 minutes to check out. And so for the rest of the movie, I was like, okay, when the fuck is this shit gonna end? Because I just want to get it done, do my review, and, you know, go to bed. You know, go home and go to bed. Because I saw this in theaters. And so, this is also going to be a spoiler review because this movie is not worth splitting in two. You know, Dafne Keen would be worth splitting in two, but this movie definitely is not worth splitting. So yeah, this movie is all about this girl. She's really messed up. Her name is Chrysanthemum, and she's really messed up, and you can tell that because they did the thing where you take a really hot actress or actor and then you try to make them look really ugly, you know, and I think what they were going for is like Allison in the Breakfast Club, which she was actually really hot before the makeover, and then she gets a makeover at the end and it's like, oh, fuck you, that sucks, you know. But they did the same thing here. They actually gave her a makeover at the end too, and it also sucked. Spoiler alert. So Dafne Keen's character, Chris, it's really weird because in the trailer, I thought, you know, she doesn't even really look like Dafne Keen, She looks like Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker killer. And then, also, to add insult to injury, for some reason, she got like a replica Rambo jacket off of eBay, and she's wearing this Rambo jacket like the first 30 minutes of the movie. I don't know why they chose that. It was such a strange choice. She wears a Rambo jacket. So the first thing she does, she goes to her locker and she finds an Aztec death whistle, and there's all this other stuff that happens. It's not worth talking about. Well, actually, I'll talk about it in a minute or so. But, like, anyways, she finds this death whistle. She does not know what this is. She does not know where it's been. Because she got this locker, but it was someone else's. So she does not know if, like, if some guy or a girl stuck this whistle up their ass. Because, you know, there is a narrow part of the whistle. And there is a narrow part that you could play with, and like teenagers, they'll do some crazy shit with just anything around the house, you know. And I'm not gonna say anything else, but like teenagers do weird shit because they're trying to. They're all hopped up on hormones, and they're trying to experiment and try to discover the aspects of life that make things more exciting and stimulating. And so, but the first thing that this bitch does is she puts this whistle in her mouth. She picks up this whistle, this thing that she has no idea where it's been. She puts it in her mouth. She puts it in her mouth. And at that point, I knew Dafne Keen's character in this movie is a nasty bitch. She is a nasty bitch of a character. And at that point, I was like, okay, what the hell is going on with this movie? Honestly, that was probably one of the scariest things of the entire movie, if not the scariest thing. Some random girl goes up to this locker and finds this whistle, has no idea where it's been, and she puts it in her mouth. I mean, Jesus. What were they thinking? And so right there, that is an example of the stupidity in this movie. This movie is just plain stupid. And I'm saying that because, again, it's like a drive-in movie where the plot is very bare and basic, and there's a bunch of stupid things that happen. There's a lot of plot conveniences. And the worst part is, the only redeeming quality about this movie is the kills. There are some good kills, but good kills are only one aspect of a good horror movie. I just got done watching Scream. Scream is a masterpiece for a multitude of reasons. And to be honest, the kills in Scream are not even like A+. I guess the first one and then the Tatum and the garage kill, those are both really good. But like, the kills in Scream are not even the best part of that movie. You know, everything else about Scream is just, it's phenomenal, it's perfect. In fact, I'm going to do an analysis where it's called Let's Get Anal with Scream. And, but this movie is the opposite, to where it's a terrible movie and everything but the kills is trash. And so here's another thing that really sucks about this movie. And again, I don't talk about this stuff all the time because I don't want to seem like one of those grifter channels that just, you know, talks about how everything is woke or everything is agenda or something. You know, I don't want to be one of those YouTubers. And so when I talk about this stuff, you guys will know that I really mean what I'm saying. I'm not just saying that this is an agenda movie for the sake of saying that it's an agenda movie. But this movie clearly, definitely is an agenda movie. All of the white male characters in this movie are shown to be terrible, evil people. There's a principal played by Nick Frost without Simon Pegg. So, it's just one half of the comedy duo that, we want to see, but we can't anymore for some reason, which really sucks. It always just... It just makes me feel so depressed when I see Nick Frost all by himself, or I see Simon Pegg all by himself. It's like, come on, get with Simon Pegg and, make some comedy about, I don't know, doing stuff, just go make a movie with that guy. You should not be by yourself, bruh. And so he's this terrible principal. He's greedy and he's a piece of shit. He gets killed as soon as the movie, and then the first person who gets killed in the movie is this guy, this white guy who is this jock, this basketball jock, and he's really selfish because he blew the whistle so that he could, or actually, no, it's not like a wish. Is it like a wish fulfillment whistle? I'm not even sure. After the movie's over, after I'm done watching the whole movie, I'm still not really sure. I think, he made the wish that he wanted to win the game or something, win the basketball game. And he won, and then he got killed, and he was kind of shown to be a jackass. And then the only other white guy in the movie, he is played by Xavier from Wednesday, who actually... he is the best actor in this movie, which is really, really depressing because, I did not like him in Wednesday. I did not like him in, what's that movie called? Spring, Winter, Summer, Fall? Ugh. No, it was Winter, Spring, Summer, Fall. Yeah, is that what, I think I already said that. I think that's what I said the first time. But he was actually good in this movie. I just don't think that he's good with Jenna Ortega at all. They don't have any chemistry at all. And I think the long hair looks terrible too, so he has short hair in this movie. He looks a lot better, and he did a good job. And so, but his character is like the most evil character in the movie. And so, he plays this youth priest, and I am not going to make it to 20 minutes, or I'm not going to make the 20-minute limit, that's for sure, because there's still quite a few things to talk about. But this character, he was a youth priest who also sold drugs, and also might have killed a kid on accident or something. His character was actually kind of interesting. He had some, he was kind of like a gray character until the end, where they turned him into just a straight up bad guy. And of course, the main character, she is a lesbian, and she gets a girlfriend through the movie, and then they show him, and he's bullying them because they're lesbian, and so it's like, oh, look at the evil white male bullying the lesbians. And then all the side characters, you have what's really hilarious is that just like with Wednesday season 1, they had a controversy because they had a bully who was a black kid, and people complained about that. They said, how dare you have a bully be non-white? And, well, what happens in this movie right off the bat is that there is a bully black jock, and I thought he did a pretty good job. The actor, he did a pretty good job playing this character, but then for some reason, they made him one of the main characters, and they made him a likable character. The agenda in this movie was so clear that, like, we're trying to fill quotas rather than tell a good story. And we're trying to say that, like, these people, like, because the whole synopsis of the movie is that there's this band of misfits. There are these misfits. And it's like, how can you describe an all-star basketball or football player as a misfit? Why? Because he's the only black player on the team? It's stupid. It's stupid as hell. They never say that in the movie, but, like, the whole premise of the movie is that, like, the main girl and all these other kids, they get together in detention after school, and that's where they meet and they become friends, I guess you could say. And then they find the whistle, or they steal the whistle, and I don't even want to talk about that because that was stupid as hell how that happened. And then they have, like, a party because they have to write an essay. So it is like The Breakfast Club. It's like ripping off The Breakfast Club. And all the people, all the kids at this party, all the 5 kids, they all blow the whistle, and, you know, shit happens from there. And basically the whole movie is about them trying to stop it, and about, you know, me trying to just make it through the movie because the movie's so bad. And yeah. So not only is this an agenda movie, but it's also a really, really just a plain bad movie. I mean, there's terrible CGI. There's lots of really loud jump scares. And there are some good kills, as I said earlier, but that's about it. And yeah, I don't even really know what else to say. I guess I could get to the hardcore spoilers, which, if you don't want to know spoilers, then just leave the video. Dafne Keen defeats the Aztec gods of evil with the power of love for her new girlfriend. She defeats these evil spirits with the power of love. I'm not kidding, guys. I'm not fucking kidding. They even went so far as to plagiarize Smile 2. Yes, that's right. This movie, it's clearly made by people who just don't care, and they just want to throw shit together that looks like other shit, and it's like other shit, and just not put any effort into making a good movie. Just put a bunch of agendas in there, and, you know, cater, just be pandering, you know, because that's basically what this movie is at its core, is a pandering trash horror movie that nobody is going to remember in like a year, or not even really a month or less. It's that bad. But remember in Smile 2, where the idea was that, like, oh, well, what if I could die and then I could come back? Like, you could bring me back. Like, what if, you know, you could stop my heart and then bring me back to life? Remember when they did that in Smile 2? Naomi Scott, she does that, and she goes with the guy to the old Pizza Hut, and then it doesn't work, and then, of course, you have that brilliant ending that was just, like, really just, like, balls to the wall, badass ending. Smile 2 was a masterpiece. I would highly recommend Smile 2 and Smile 1. They rip that off here. They make it to where, the plan is, through all this plot convenience, because the girlfriend, who gets to survive the movie too, of course, because, you know, we can't kill one half of this lesbian couple, because that would be homophobic if we did that. We can kill all the other characters, though. You know, we don't have to worry about them. We just have to make sure that, you know, this couple stays alive so that they can continue dating at the end. And then, because that's really the whole point of this movie, is it's all about it's almost like a drama about this, like, heroin addict. I don't really believe that she's a heroin addict in the movie at all, but it's a drama about her overcoming this tragedy that she had before, just like Smile 2. And, oh yeah, that's also like Smile 2. Oh god. Oh god, the people who made this movie are so fucking evil. But, like, yeah, their plan is, like, let's stop our hearts, because then we can just be brought back to life and we won't, like, fully die. We'll just die and then come back, because that's just a totally normal thing that you can do in a movie, and so, but as I said, the girlfriend, she is an ER nurse studying to become a doctor, so that was so convenient that she has all these medical supplies so that they can just, so happen to do all this stuff and do this plan that, she never would have been able to do if she was just all by herself, unless they went to a hospital and stole medical supplies or something. And so, yeah, I don't know. There's other shit that's stupid. Like, there's this whole idea that, no, I don't even want to talk about it. Like, it's that bad. Like, it's one of those times where, like, it's better to just be quiet and to just not say anything, because it's not even worth it. This movie's not even worth the rant. It's not even worth the really negative hour-long review that I could tear this movie apart piece by piece, bit by bit. That's how bad it is. Xavier, I don't even want to talk about what happens with him, but it's so fucking stupid. He tries to shoot the spirit of evil, and he's shooting himself like the spirit is a voodoo doll, and he shoots himself like 5 times. And it's only after shooting himself for the 5th time that he feels that he shot himself, and he falls over and dies. I mean, that is just mind-numbingly stupid. This is a stupid movie with stupid characters. Look, I don't care about like what these people are, like, in terms of, like, their gender or whatever, or their sexual orientation, but it's the fact that these filmmakers, that's what they cared about. That was the only thing that they had in mind with this movie, was let's make a modern day Breakfast Club agenda movie, and it'll have some horror in there, kinda, because you can tell that, because if people made a movie where they really focused on that premise of an Aztec death whistle, and that's a really, really cool idea, then there wouldn't be this strong focus on all this other drama and this and these girls being in love with each other. Like, that wouldn't be the focus. And the movie was just so lazy too. It did not really feel like they put much effort into being creative with the concept and actually taking it seriously. It felt like they did not take it seriously. They treated it, again, like a drive-in, like a cheap drive-in movie. And I can't say enough bad things about this movie. Just everything about it is stupid. There are so many plot conveniences. And you can tell. I mean, I don't even have to talk about all of them, because I've just told you about one little thing. The girlfriend being an ER nurse and she has all these medical supplies. That's bad enough. Not even mentioning the fact that they ripped off Smile 2 and The Breakfast Club. So anyways, in terms of food, fuck this movie. This movie is a pizza It is a pizza that's just been so overcooked that the only thing that's able to be saved is like a little bit of cheese on top. So the crust is burned, the tomato sauce has been cooked away, and there's only like this little bit of cheese in the center that isn't complete rubber. You can peel that off and eat it, and then you can just throw the rest away, go get a pizza from Papa John's or something. But like, that's what this movie is. It's like an overcooked pizza, and not even like a full pizza, but just a personal pizza. You know, like one of those really small pizzas that it's basically like half of a meal, or it's like a snack, you know? That's what this movie is. There are so many dumb things about it, and again, they just did not do justice to the concept, and the characters were bad. The music was not noticeable at all. The kills were okay, but other than that, I would not recommend watching this movie. I would recommend avoiding this movie like you should avoid blowing an Aztec death whistle. You guys know what's really funny too? This is just like a total side note, because again, this movie is not worth talking about. If you guys would really like, though, I could do another video talking about the spoilers, and that would be really funny, because that would be 3 videos that I've done about this movie, even though, again, it does not deserve it at all. Like, it's so bad. So bad. But anyways, I was at this film shoot, and the location owner, it was so funny because I told him, I just asked for like one thing, like if he could find this one thing that he mentioned that he had, and he couldn't, but he found this other stuff, and he came back in the room. He's like, "Oh yeah, I also got this Aztec death whistle off of Temu." He's got this little cheap Aztec death whistle, and he showed it to me. I was like, yeah, we're good. We don't need to use that. So even though that Aztec death whistle was fake, I was like, oh, that's really cool. I don't want to use that at all. Like, I avoided it like the plague, because that's what any smart person would do. All the characters in this movie, though, they're so stupid that they acted like they had lobotomies. And so they all blew the death whistle. They all blew the Aztec death whistle like idiots. Another thing, too, is at the end of the movie, Dafne Keen gets a makeover, and she ends up looking like Selena Kyle. You know how a lot of people have said that Dafne Keen should be Selena Kyle or Catwoman? Well, she actually gets the Catwoman haircut at the end of the movie, and it does not look good at all. So it was at that moment that I realized, yeah, okay, she would not make a good Catwoman. But overall, I mean, I would recommend staying the hell away from this movie, because it is much worse than the bad movies that I've reviewed so far this year. Like, go watch Mercy. Go watch 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. Go see Send Help in theaters. Support that movie. Don't watch this trash. It's horrible. In fact, I will say this. If this review gets 5 likes, I will do a spoiler review where I go into all the spoilers, because there are so many stupid things that happen that it would make for a great spoiler review. It's just that I don't really feel like this movie deserves it. You know, I feel like there's just some movies that don't deserve your breath, and this is one of them. And so please like this video and comment and tell me what you thought of this shitty movie. In fact, this is already a spoiler review, so it would just be a spoiler part 2 review. And then please subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more honest movie reviews. And then once again, please join our Patreon page because you will not regret it. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.